that an unconscious body was found along a dirt road just several yards away from the abandoned Black Bear Church. Welcome to Friday Night Ghost Frights. I'm author and Ghostorian Mike Ricksecker. Explore with us. For this episode, we're concluding the story Mysteries of the Church of Darkness out of the Ghostorian case files. Where we left off last time was an EVP session with the ghost girl, Mary, 8:27 p.m. My questions. Who needed money? The family? Where in Guthrie did Elizabeth get lost? Mary. They lost her because they needed money. This essentially concluded the EVP session since Mary stopped responding to any further questioning. Exhibit 13. Ghostorian's Journal. Day 11. The probable connection between young Elizabeth from Black Bear Church, likely the girl Vanessa had seen in her viewing, and Miss Lizzie's bordello at the Blue Bell Saloon in Guthrie, is staring me right in the face. That connection, arising again after an attempt to connect the unknown cowboy with the Blue Bell, is a little more than ironic. But how do these things tie into Bartholomew Jenkins and the mysterious email about the occult practices? I sifted through all my photographs of the ruined church, again trying to see if I had missed anything. Again, the self-illuminated balls of light were unmistakable. There are certainly some sort of spiritual entities that inhabit the place. What I hadn't really looked at before was the graffiti, and I almost missed it while I flipped through. Black Bear Church has been desecrated time and time again by the local teens who have used the place to party. The walls are littered with spray paint of people's names, crass phrases, and the word vagina standing prominent in the dead center of the pulpit wall. There are a smattering of symbols scattered about as well, and I just saw one that I hadn't noticed before and probably wouldn't have if it hadn't been for the parcel I had just received the other day. Also in the pulpit area was the symbol for the Santa Fe Railway. Exhibit 14, the Santa Fe Depot. The building itself, built in 1903, the Santa Fe Depot in Guthrie is loaded with legends. Some of the highlights are as follows. While it handed passenger and mail service and contained a newsstand, railway offices, employee living quarters, and a Harvey House restaurant, it is also the site in which on December 29, 1910, Governor Charles N. Haskell signed the legislation that moved the capital of Oklahoma from Guthrie to Oklahoma City. John Fogarty was the conductor of the number 410 passenger train, which was known in its day as the 400 Fogarty. During the turbulent days of Oklahoma's past, with outlaw gangs, boomtowns, and gun-wielding ranch hands, the 400 Fogarty had the reputation for being the most reliable locomotive on the railway. Tales of Fogarty's toughness, including a few incidents in which pistols were drawn, made the rounds. Nobody got the best of the popular conductor. There was a great toad incident at the Harvey House when small live toads were found kicking about in the hot coffee that had been served, a mystery until 1953, when an old brakeman of a freight train revealed that he had been the prankster. In May 1936, a faulty rail just 3 miles north of the depot caused a horrific train wreck on the bridge over the Cimarron River. One of the rail cars plunged 25 feet into the river, killing people aboard and injuring many. In May 1954, a Santa Fe locomotive halted at Guthrie and remained at a standstill long after it was supposed to have continued on when it was discovered its engineer, John Avery, had died of a heart attack while waiting. Paranormal activity over the years has included a woman in a long black Victorian dress, often seen near the second-floor dormitory window. Many believe she is the woman who supervised the Harvey girls as headmistress. Her spirit is seen as the stern and authoritative type, becoming frosty when male visitors venture up to take a peek where the girls once lived. Downstairs in the depot area is a bit of residual energy from passengers of long ago that plays back like a recorder and gives the occasional snapshot of the train station from the past, with voices and noises coming back to life at seemingly random moments. There may also be an intelligent haunt on the first level as well, since employees of the restaurant have found drinks filled on tables and chairs pulled out like an invitation to sit down. Also, other paranormal investigators have seen a mist form in the basement and disappear into one of the walls. Exhibit 15, Tale of the Old Man. Ghostorian's Note. Upon discovering the symbol, I made immediate plans to visit the Santa Fe Depot. I ate lunch in the small diner that is inside the station, but the ladies running the restaurant were reluctant to talk about anything outside of basic history of the building and the movie that was shot there in 2005. Sitting on a bench outside when I exited was an elderly man in a flannel shirt and tattered trousers who motioned me to him. He stated that he had overheard my questions to the waitress and manager, but assured me he had much better answers. The old man allowed me to record him, and below is a transcript of his tale.
There are a lot of secrets around these parts, son, and most people don't like strangers snooping around, especially if you live outside Guthrie. Now, don't get me wrong, these are fine folk that live here, real friendly and hospitable like. But their business is their business, and that chip on their shoulder from 1910 is still there for some, even was back in their grandpappy's day. Now, sounds like you got a little girl you're looking for, and a cowboy without no name, and a church, and the old whorehouse. All you're missing is the man in the derby hat, and the lady that done run that house, Miss Lizzie. Oh, she was a God-fearing woman, straight as an arrow until it came to her profession and whoring out the girls. Somehow that was just fine as long as some of that money found its way back to the church. They even gave it a name, a nice ring with bordello, and made it real discreet-like for the politicians and bankers, as if God couldn't see through the walls. And those politicians and bankers, you see, they got the fresh young ones, newest girls to the Lizzies Stable, while the more common folk would get the ladies that had been around a while. Might not even have a full set of teeth like myself. Why, you get what I'm saying, son. Now, there was one girl that went by the name of Claudia, and by the look I could tell you done heard about her and that she got herself killed. But I reckon you don't really know how she got herself killed. Well, I'm going to tell you the story, and you can think what you want about it. You see, Claudia was Lizzie's newest girl, only been around a couple months. Through her righteous church circles, Claudia was sold into Lizzie's services from a family in need of money somewhere up near Garber. Of course, Claudia wasn't her real name. The only one that known, well, that's coming. There was this man in from Chicago wearing a brown suit and one of them derby hats, a financier of some sort. He had business here in Guthrie and down in Oklahoma City, but when he was last in and out of these parts doing whatever the hell he was doing between Guthrie and Oklahoma City, using Santa Fe Railway, of course, he was especially requesting the services for what they lack of a better term of for young Claudia. Now, it just so happens here that this financier had a brother that worked some of the ranches in the area and sort of an outcast from his family who come out here to find a new life on the frontier. Maybe he was running from something back east, who knows? But this motley cowboy one day walks into his brother's hotel room across the street from Lizzie's and finds him with Claudia. Well, that cowboy tried to scrap with his brother over the girl on account of him taking advantage of one so young. Reminded him of their baby sister, he said. So not only did this cowboy want to save Claudia from his brother, he wanted to save her entirety and all from the whorehouse and the other men. That cowboy hatched up some plan to go talk to the girl's folks and try to work something out so they could take her back. And in 3 days' time, Claudia would sneak out and ride off with him back to wherever she done come from. But it didn't go too good. No, not too good at all. You see, there's more behind the story than just some girl getting herself killed over by some coal chute in the Bluebell. There's always a bigger story, son, and it gets lost at times, so you better listen up to this old codger here before the tale dies with me. Yeah, Claudia did get herself killed over by that coal chute, but that cowboy was never going to be waiting out there for her. He just didn't know how it all really worked out here, being from back east and all, and he didn't know that dirty family secrets, them skeletons everyone's always talking about, need to stay in that closet. Claudia was dead from the family now, you know. She was being defiled by the sin of many men, a sort of sacrifice the family done just justified to keep the rest of their lives going, so they weren't going to want to see her no more. Too much shame. Best be forgotten about. And here comes that cowboy riding up to them, may as well been on a white horse, with his promise to bring the girl back to them. I reckon it was some kind of surprise to that cowboy when the family refused to take back one of their own kin. They didn't want no trouble with nobody, but there was gonna be all kinds of trouble with what he was trying to sell. So when he started riding off talking about going and getting the girl anyway, and they needed to think of what was best for the girl, well, Claudia's old man hit that cowboy over the head with a shovel and killed him. They covered it up by saying that this cowboy fell off his horse and must have had a heart attack or something and hit his head on a rock. So they buried him up there all Christian-like as if he's just been some stranger riding through and suddenly died. Now, for Claudia, of course, she didn't know none of this, so she was going to make her escape through the old coast chute anyway. That financier, however, caught wind somehow of this plan his brother done hatched up. Maybe Claudia told him, and he tried to stop the girl. Until the story had become forgotten about, some would say that he did what he done because he had one of them infatuations with Claudia, and others would say that he was just trying to save his own skin because Lizzie known he had a thing for the girl, and if she went missing while he was in town, well, Lizzie had plenty of power and connections to make sure he went missing too. So Claudia tried to escape. He tried to stop her, and in the struggle she broke her neck and died. Of course, all that struggling and arguing and fighting was making some sort of racket, and Lizzie come downstairs with her shotgun. Once she saw one of her girls was dead on the floor, she shot that financier point blank at the chest. The cleanup, well, it's not all that hard to make some gent from back east just disappear out in these parts. They don't know the territory out here and must have gotten mixed up with the wrong crowd, right? The girl was even easier. The Bordello girls were roughed up and beaten something fierce by the men who bought them anyway, so it was easy to just say that after so many people done heard the commotion. Now, whether or not Claudia is buried by that coal chute like the current legend tells, well, I don't know. It's a sad, sad tale like you've been telling people, Mr. Ghostorian, and now there are some sad, sad spirits hanging around the old Bluebell.
Exhibit 16, Correspondence to Jenkins. Dear Mr. Jenkins, attached to this letter is a transcript of a conversation with one of the elderly locals in Guthrie, Oklahoma. I think you'll find that the details therein concern your friend, the unknown cowboy, that is buried there at Black Bear Cemetery. Perhaps the fact that this story is remembered and will carry on will ease the weight of his soul. He should also be told that the girl he is concerned about is doing quite well. She is frolicking about the remnants of the church at a younger, more innocent age and is quite happy where she is at. Elizabeth is no longer Claudia and is free. I believe this satisfies the requirements of what you asked me to investigate. If there is anything else you need, please let me know. Yours in spirit, Mike Ricksecker. Exhibit 17, the warning letter. Dear Mr. Ricksecker, I know I said I would never get involved again, but they found me, and I felt I had no choice. I think your show stirred up some new interest in the church, and the group wants to go back and see what else they can let loose. Their intentions are bad, but I can't get out of it. One of the members is a cousin of mine, and he said one of the circle was doing time, so they needed another body. I can't get out of it this time. I just thought I ought to warn you that they plan to do this. I don't know what all you do during your investigations, or if you do any of that protection stuff, but if they've raised up that crawler thing before, then they might try something even bigger. I don't know. I'm scared. I hope you can help. Sincerely, Jack. Exhibit 18, Seducimus Triumphatus, from section 8-7. And perhaps a demon himself useth the imagination of the witch so qualified for his purpose, even in those actions of mischief which are more properly his. For it is most probable that spirits act upon bodies immediately, and by their naked essence, but by means proportionate and suitable instruments that they use, upon which account likely 'tis so strictly required that the sorceress should believe, that so her imagination might be more the devotion of the mischievous agent. And for the same reason also ceremonies are used in enchantments, viz. For the begetting of diabolical faith and heightening the fancy to a degree of strength and vigor sufficient to make it a fit instrument for the designed performance.
Did you not hear it? Did you not hear the thump on the freaking metal?
I heard that.
Tell me it's a freaking crawler.
Exhibit 19, the Black Bear Body. Ghostorian's note. The link to this blog post was emailed to me, and it appears the report was kept out of the local news. The Black Bear Body. There are reports from our colleagues in Enid that an unconscious body was found along a dirt road just several yards away from the abandoned Black Bear Church and the cemetery across from it. This area has gained popularity in recent years, and the caretakers have kept a closer eye on the property. There are even rumors that the ruins of the church will soon be torn down, but that doesn't stop the curious and others from venturing inside. The description of this young man was simply that he was without a shirt, and there are several cryptic markings drawn on his back. Was he a part of one of the rumored ceremonies that go on there at times? Or was he just a drunken teen that passed out and was abandoned by his friends? At this point, we don't know for sure. It's a quiet, tight-lipped community that enjoys its privacy, so the locals aren't talking. In our last investigation there, we caught more Class A EVPs from there than we ever have before, including He Must Die. Our team site has more information, but we believe crawler activity is beginning to increase. Exhibit 20, final thoughts. Day 23. This has been a mixed case, but I'm happy it appears that while solving the riddle of the unknown cowboy, I simultaneously solved the riddle of Claudia at the Bluebell Saloon, Elizabeth from days gone by at the New Bethany Baptist Church. Perhaps the spirit of the unknown cowboy will be more at peace now. It already appears that Elizabeth is blissfully playing around the remnants of the old church. With that success is also the incomplete case of the crawler that lurks about the grounds. I've only refocused my attention to this issue for less than a month, and there is certainly more to be discovered, but more pressing matters are calling to my attention, so I will continue to leave this segment open. With the heightened attention around the church at the moment, I'd be a fool to trespass onto the property. I'll send out a few feelers to see if anyone knows any further details about this body that was discovered along the dirt road, and what kind of markings were upon him. I would also warn anyone else seeking to venture to the property to not do so without express permission from the owners. The cemetery, however, from all accounts I've seen, is public. I expect I'll return to it in the not-too-distant future to give my regards to Bartholomew Jenkins, the unknown cowboy, the shadows amongst the trees, and the other souls of the deceased that linger there. Mike Ricksecker, Ghostorian. Thank you for watching Friday Night Ghost Frights and completing the 3-part series of Mysteries of the Church of Darkness from Ghostorian Case Files, which is available, of course, from hauntedroadmedia.com and MikeRicksecker.com. If you like this video, please go ahead and leave some comments below, and if you have not yet, please subscribe and click that little bell icon for notifications. I'm Mike Ricksecker. Until next Friday night.